Start, sir.
Yes.
Hi, hello, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am Supriya Christabel and I am Sergeant at Arms. I welcome you all to the 266th meetings of the Inspiron Toastmasters Club. Before starting the meeting, I would like to maintain three ground rules which we follow in our Toastmasters meeting. Kindly refrain from talking about sex, religion, and politics. The mission of our Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop the communications and leadership skills, resulting in gather self-confidence and the personal. I declare the meeting open and I heartily welcome our club president, Toastmaster Royal D'Souza, for his presidential address. Over to the president.
Hey, very good evening, everyone. Toastmaster Royal D'Souza here. I'm excited for today's event. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our division director, Toastmaster Amit Ananda, and we have wonderful guests over here. We have Pratiksha Ballal, we have Charlene from MILAGRES Club, and all other MILAGRES members. Good evening. So it was a gloomy Friday morning, and Rampa was reading a newspaper. His wife hands him over a cup of tea and with lots of love, and she was very happy. Now Rampa was confused. How come my wife is being so sweet today? Whatever it was, he liked it. He quickly dressed up and leaves for his office. And as he's walking, he was thinking about his wife and wondering, did I forget something? As he was brainstorming, what is the catch? He realized that today is her birthday. Now he also realized that he is in a big trouble. As he was walking, he noticed a pet shop with a hefty parrot inside. And he quickly enters the shop and asks, what's the price of this parrot? The shopkeeper says, it's around 20,000 rupees. Rampa was shocked. What are you saying? 20,000 for a parrot? The shopkeeper says, sir, this is the smartest parrot in the world and it can speak 20 languages. Along with this parrot, you'll also get this ancient bottle of wine, which is 100 years old, for free. And we also provide free delivery. Now Rampa, he examined the shopkeeper's claim and he was convinced. He pays the amount and writes a note on the wine bottle. Happy birthday, my darling. I didn't forget your birthday. I wanted to give you this surprise. Can't wait to have a romantic dinner with you after work. He asked the shopkeeper to deliver it to his address. Now, as promised, Rampa, after his work, he reaches home early. And as he reaches, he could see the floor filled with rose petals leading towards the dining table. And delicious food was covered all over the table. While they were about to have dinner, he asked his wife, hey, did you like the surprise? How is the bird? She smiles and opens the dish and says, I was waiting for you. I still didn't taste it yet. Now Rampa lost his mind. You mad lady, this was the most expensive and smartest parrot in the world. What is wrong with you? Now she was offended. Now she said, if it was the smartest bird in the world, why it didn't speak while I was about to cook it? My dear Toastmasters and guests, if we won't speak up, the world will cook us up. The world needs great leaders, and Toastmasters is a place where leaders are made. And I think it's time for us to speak up, make a difference, and lead by example. Thank you. And over to the president of MILAGRES Club, Toastmaster Asma.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Royal. I'm sorry, I can't turn on my video right now. I just got back home, but I will turn it on in a while. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting MILAGRES and inviting us to collaborate for this meeting. It's a very it's a very wonderful collaboration that we have here. Even though we are in two different divisions, we still managed to do this. And big thank you to everybody at Inspiron and everybody at MILAGRES for agreeing to make this a success, which I'm sure it's going to be. Before I joined Toastmasters, I thought that you could either be humorous or not be humorous. I didn't think of humor as something that you can gain with practice or gain with learning. Now, it was only after I joined Toastmasters did I realize that even if you don't think of yourself as a person with a good sense of humor, you can somehow incorporate humor. You can somehow see the funny in the most boring things as well. And today I'm so happy that we've made this possible. And I'm sure for all of us, it's going to be a very positive and very productive learning session. Back to you, Toastmaster Royal.
Yes, and today we have a very special MC, our very own member from Inspiron Club, who's an HR. Over to Toastmaster Dsouza.
Thank you, Toastmaster Royal, for your introduction. And good evening, respected dignitaries, Toastmasters of Inspiron Toastmaster Club and MILAGRES Toastmaster Club, and my dear guests. I welcome everybody to this collaborative session, Republic of Laughter, conducted in collaboration with Inspiron and MILAGRES Toastmasters. Today's session is broken down into 4 different segments. The first segment will be educational session on humor workshop. The second segment is humorous speech session. The third is fun session. And the fourth session is YOLO session, which is again a fun-filled session. So let's get going straight away to the education session, that is humor workshop. To conduct this session, we have DTM Lancy Dsouza. To introduce DTM Lancy Dsouza, he has 20 years of service as an airport manager with Emirates Airlines. He is a distinguished Toastmaster and he has mentored several clubs, schools in Saudi Arabia. He has also volunteered to many social services. His motto is, never trust your fears, they don't know your strengths. Over to DTM Lancy Dsouza, make them laugh, DTM Lancy Dsouza.
Much appreciated for that. Right, okay. First, couple of ground rules. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Right, Zoom Master, okay, we've got the timer, right? Okay, what's the timer's name, Royal?
Charlene is a
Charlotte, okay, fine. So you've got the timings, right? At green, you've got to show me 35 minutes, green, yellow at 40, and red at 44. Okay, fine. Yes, and I've got Amit, who's going to help me out with monitoring the PPT slides. Am I right, Amit? Correct? Okay, fine. Right, and or was it the video, right? And yes, and last enough. Yeah, okay. So I've got volunteers here. There's a reason why I picked up volunteers, because all my workshops are absolutely interactive. It's got to be that way, right? So Royal, Larson, Amit, Zina, Jacob, Jeevan, Supriya, Asma, Seema. At some point of time, when I call you up and ask you to read something for me from the slide, please unmute yourself in the fastest possible way, and so you can help me out with a seamless one. Great stuff. Right, okay, thank you. So as usual, this husband and wife, right, were having a problem in the morning and having a fight. So she looked at him and said, you know, darling, I look at the moon, I see you. I look at the stars, I see you. I look at the sky, I see you. I look at Inspiron and MILAGRES Toastmasters, I see you. Honey, please move aside. You're blocking my view. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, I'm definitely not going to block your view. In fact, I'm going to tell you that if you ever think that you do not have a funny bone, for heaven's sake, find it. It's one of the equalizers, the one thing that sets you apart from a lot of people, and it resonates with Ralph Smedley, who said, the founder of Toastmasters, he said, the best moments of learning are in times of enjoyment. On that cue, can we have the PPT up, please? Thank you so much. Right, okay. I was there at one particular one, and as we start off in here, make them laugh. I was here at a ladies' coffee break that they had in there. This was in Saudi Arabia. And they'd asked me to come in and talk about Toastmasters, etc. So I started off and I said, you know, ladies, bringing up children is the easiest thing on the planet. Obviously, they wanted to kill me, castrate me, hang me up, etc. I said, wait a minute, I haven't finished off. Bringing up children is the easiest thing in the world, provided they're not yours. It eased up. And after that, the ladies are more than willing to listen to me. But that's how it is. You got to make them laugh. It eases up a lot of ways, and it cuts ice with a lot of people. All right, so let's get on to the next slide. Next, yes. Okay, so we've got an agenda. We learned best during moments of enjoyment. This was Ralph Smedley. All right, go a little bit slow. Humor, why, who, when, where. As you see, what is them? Two boys, like a lot of men in this room that we have today. And mind you, I'm a boy in a big body, and I'm sure all the men would agree with me. Oh yes, after 40, we are naughty. But then again, so two boys aged 8 years old were having a fight after school on the curb outside the premises. And as usual, Charlie said, my father has got a bigger house than your father. And Alok kept on repeating. The two of them said, big, large, huge, gigantic. Until Alok said, okay, hang on a minute, man. Charlie, everything your father has got big. But guess what? My mother looks better than your mother. For a moment, Charlie is quiet and he says, Alok, you're right, man. My father thinks so too. Innocent children, but that's where you get the humor from. So the humorous speech contest that we have in here, we've got a content and we've got the structure. All right, next. And obviously it's the delivery that matters. It's a humor workout, the whole package deal, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I will have final thoughts with you where you're going to pitch in and help me out. All right, so let's get on to the next slide. Yes, next. Okay, why use humor? Obviously, because it's the equalizer, is the one thing that gets you to connect with the audience. Even Buddha said, don't take yourself too seriously because nobody does. And once you come to that realization, you understand it's better to look on the lighter side of life. When I did my first icebreaker there, and I recollected that, and I said, you know what, when I was a little boy at school, on my birthday, I wouldn't distribute any sweets. The school would distribute the sweets to everybody. Guess why? Because it was Republic Day. But that's food for thought. You can start off on a speech. Next one, enhanced learning. Oh, often we see a lot of comedians, stand-up comedies. You get Kapil Sharma, and then you laugh, for about 5 minutes, and then probably for 5 seconds, you get a takeaway. We use humor, ladies and gentlemen, definitely on a plane where I would love if you laugh just for 5 seconds. But for the next 5 minutes, you've got to take away from the message of the humor as to why it clicked, what it clicked. And that's where your heart comes in. Always listen to your heart. It may be on the left, but it's always right about life. All right, okay. Stimulate creativity and imagination. One-liners. Oh, I was introduced at this particular club where we had a young female, and she said, among our midst, we've got the DTM, Lancy Dsouza. what he lacks in depth, he manages with his height. I know I was 6 feet, but I was wondering if that was a compliment for me or not. All right. Okay. Next. Yes. And then there was at another one, we had another person who introduced me and he said, oh, we've got DTM out here addressing you. Yeah, let's have a warm welcome. I went back to the Wikipedia, the dictionary, and I thought, like, warm? It says not too hot. You mean I'm not a too hot speaker? Oh, come on. Was that a compliment or was that a letdown? But then again, why use humor? All right, next. Yes. Okay, so what happens? Who can use humor? You, me, we in the room, anyone, everyone. I wasn't born a humorist at some point of time. But down the line, I've learned anyone can be and can use humor, but don't overdo it. We all learn through mistakes at that point of time. Okay, next one, which is in the... Yes, people need to laugh. I mean, this is good. Imagine we had a speaker who was speaking about smoking and its ill effects. Now, as we know, smoking is a rather intense one. It could be a lot downhill for a lot of people to catch up on it because we know what it is. But here's the striker. He starts off and he says, ladies and gentlemen, smoking helps you lose weight, one lung at a time. He brought the mood. And after that, people were eating out of his hands because they were more than willing to listen to the rest of his speech. Who can use humor? Any speaker. Next. What's it? Okay, fine. Yeah. If you can laugh, you can make others laugh. I laugh. I have to be that because you are the mirror reflection of me. If I'm going to be sober, you're going to be sober. If I'm disinterested, you're going to be disinterested. Natural mirror reflection. All right. Yes. Next. Yep. Okay, we're doing fine. Great. Okay. So, yes, my attitude is be positive because my blood group is be positive. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got humor in there. All right. Go ahead. Yes. Right. So when do people laugh? This is important. At times we figure it out. Yes. Go ahead. Let's have the slide. Yep. Successfully tricked. When do people laugh? So when I was at work, I always remembered, but in my earlier days, I always had the manager who would say, oh, if anything goes wrong in this place, it's Lancy. He is responsible. And I would kickstart my speeches, my vulnerability, but then people were more than willing to listen to my weakness and, of course, have a control on it. The joke structure, that's good because it's always got to have a setup. And of course, the magic that comes in, ladies and gentlemen, is obviously on what you do. The next one, go ahead, yes, is your punchline. Very often, it's the punchline that matters. So when I set up creates and I have expectations and I said, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I seriously do have a handle on my life. And then the punchline comes in. But go ahead. We'll move a little bit faster. But then it broke. The life handle broke. Okay, let's speed it up. Yes, okay, go ahead. Where to find humor? All over the place. Yourself. I use myself all the time as a protagonist out there and with the self-creating humor. All right. Yes, I remember when I did this workshop on Independence Day, I told people, I love India. Absolutely. And I also represent Shining India. So there I am. Okay. Yourself hobbies. My hobbies are huge. And one of them includes having no time for people. But I make up habits. I love food. I love seafood. I see food and I eat it. Where to find humor? In the most unexpected places. Pick yourself in hobbies, habits. Yes, next, go ahead. Yeah. Culture. The teacher asked this little boy in class and said, Johnny, what's the capital of India? Without a blink, he said, Swiss banks. That's where the capital is, isn't it? We all know that. But it's the children who have the innocence of pointing that out. Tomorrow you're talking about financial, work on this. Physical appearance, oh yes. When my kids were younger, the elder chap, of course, is in Chicago right now, a US national. The younger chap is in Goa with his own business. But for them, it was easier to eat my brains than the rest of the kids because I do not have hair. So, right, okay, next, go ahead, yes. And at one point of time, when we were having a conference and I relocated from Saudi Arabia back to India about 8 years ago, we were having a conversation, the three of us, linked up on a video conference. And I said to them, you know what, guys, my sons, I said, okay, I'm going to start off my entrepreneurship out here. I need to pass time and get in there and probably get into business. And the younger chap kind of says, yeah, sure, that Bob, go ahead. But guess what? Mind your own business. And I said, yeah, sure. When it comes to money, you ask me, then I'll tell you whom to mind your business for. People, common experience. It's common experience that gets you where your humor is. Okay, let's get on to this. Yep. Where to find humor? I've always found this, and I'll explain how that it gets. Groups you belong to, Toastmasters, you can always say, somebody calls you a Toastmaster. Yes, I am one who pops in and out, but I also pop out and pop in with all the information that I have. Relationships, as usual, this husband and wife were having a fight in the morning before going to work. And this time the husband said to the wife, darling, one more word from you. You're going to get the animal out of me. She looked at him in his eyes and said, big deal, sweetheart. Who's afraid of a mouse? I know the women are laughing. All right, okay, great. Okay, so that's one up for me. All right, okay, next, yeah. Comedy evolves from tragedy. Sometimes you don't figure it out, but guess what's coming in them? This Mangalore taxi driver, go ahead, show me the slide. Go ahead, yes. This crazy Mangalore driver, after driving through all the alleys in Mangalore, quit his job after 15 years. He quit his job because he got fed up of people talking behind his back. Pick up where to find humor. Next. All right, okay, go ahead, yeah. Let's be a little bit faster with because I've got 27 slides, so a little bit faster with the slide, thank you. Social distancing, in today's time, in COVID, all over the planet, in that we know social distancing, put your mask, get this, get that, the oximeters and everything in that. Why? Because we need to flatten the curve. But my generous doctor tells me, Lancy, eat less, you're putting on weight, you've got to flatten the curve there. So social distancing also starts at home. And this is my all-time favorite because very often we find out what could we get out from tragedy. When the Wall Street collapsed and a lot of people went downhill and there were people who also committed suicide, this particular financial stockbroker the next morning on the rebound told his colleagues over breakfast and he said, last night I slept like a baby, man. Every half an hour I got up and cried. But the humor was not lost because he was willing to get himself out of that huge predicament and the depression. So where to find humor, ladies and gentlemen? Anywhere, any place, any nook and corner. Go ahead. Next, yes, okay. How people laugh. Oh, this is where my volunteers come in. I've got such lovely looking people and great handsome. Royal, the handsome guy, please tell me no. Let me know which person did you like laugh? Which do you like laugh? Go ahead, quick. Laugh for Namit, Zina coming up. Go ahead, yes.
Yours.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Of course, I did that, and I had a makeover, and I said, made certain that I had.
I like the fourth one.
You like the fourth one from where? The left, right?
Fourth from my left.
From the left, now? Yes, that is right. Absolutely great. Okay, fine. Yes, okay. Zina, please take a chance. Yeah, take a pot shot. Which one do you like? Unmute yourself. Jacob and Jeevan, please, next. Unmute yourself quick.
I like
this little fellow here. He's
the
natural,
little fellow. Even I'm a little fellow, Zina. I'm a boy in a big body. Come on. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. for complimenting me on that one. Yeah, Jeevan, Jacob, go ahead. Okay, Jacob, your turn. Go ahead.
I like the middle lady, the fifth one.
The fifth one, from the left, from the right,
Both the side, it is equal. Fifth
both the
one.
sides out there. You're the
Yes.
middle man. You better watch out. If you've got your wife around there, she's going to kill you and say, like, okay, is that one? I can't
I
match
knew
this
it.
out here. And the last person, okay, Asma, because she'll say, what is this? Only you're inspiring people from Inspiron, not about MILAGRES. Hi,
Yeah.
okay, please.
I like all laughs where the eyes become very tiny.
Right, okay, shall I remove my spectacles right now and blink? Or what should I do that? All right, Asma, that was really great. Thank you so much, volunteers. All right, let's get on to the next slide. And as I've said, yes, I will call our volunteers to read out at a later stage. Okay, next one. Go ahead. Yeah, we've got the slide coming up. Huge speech contest. All right, be realistic. There are two R's. Absolutely. Realistic is be yourself very often and write it down. I do write down. Why? Because the short pencil is definitely better than a long memory. It's coming up there. And I've got a satchel when I walk, if I'm standing in a bus line, in a train, in a car, in the Uber, at the airport, for my flight, in the flight, in between times, and I see something. I take it down and I write it down, just cute little things in there, and then make up the rest of that in there. It's got to be relevant. Obviously, it's got to match in there. It's just not a copy and paste one-liners. It's got to be meaningful, have a meaningful dialogue. So 2 hours, realistic, and then be relevant. Okay, let's keep up with it. Yes, go ahead. Link the materials in your projects. Absolutely. And of course, why did people laugh? Why did they not laugh? That's a lot of introspection. I can see people already smiling, so I know where I've scored. If I don't, then I know, okay, this is where it is. But no, nobody is perfect. Next slide. Yes. Okay, so it comes in here. What does it trigger? That is important. That is something with retrospecting, and there are rules of 3. Okay, next, go ahead in there. There are 9 points in there. Relations, and each one I'm going to have it and stop. Yeah, okay, so we've got a wordplay, simile, and metaphor. I'm going to expand this out here through this funny, a callback, a philosophical thought, right? And formula. So here's the thing. Okay, fine. This 1 minute, hold on. I've got Seema. Seema, you're there. Can you unmute yourself and read this out for me so that people register? What does this trigger? Perhaps this is a cue as to where you can get all your stuff in humor. So Seema, please do the honors and read this out for me.
Yeah. Rule of 3.
Yes.
Relation and connections.
Correct.
Wordplay.
Yes.
Simile and metaphor.
Yes.
Truth is funny.
Correct.
Callback.
Yes.
Philosophical thoughts.
Yes.
Formula joke. Impersonating. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But at some point of time, you will pull out one of these and find out, even with a simile and metaphor. Okay, let's go. And most importantly, watch out for the wordplay. Okay, next. All right, so rule of 3 with humor twist. As I said, each one is going to be expanded in there. All right, so here's where people come in here. Royal, can you do this for me, please? Read out the first one. As I call out names, you'll have to start reading out for me one by one. Go ahead, yes.
The secret of staying young is to live honestly, to eat slowly, and lie about your age.
Yes, I know. Your girlfriend has been telling me. She's been calling you up and saying this Royal is forever lying about his age. Keep lying out here till your tongue falls out. All right, the next one. Go ahead. Okay. Larson. Okay, go ahead. Read this out for me.
How do I get to Inspiron Toastmasters Club? Go straight, turn left, and then get lost.
That's right, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, if you ever do meetup portals, you'll never get lost because we are here to look you hook, line, and sinker. Forget MILAGRES, join Inspiration. And if it's in MILAGRES, forget Inspiron, join MILAGRES. But you got your pitch in there before you get lost. All right, next one in there. Coming up is Amit. Amit, it's your turn. Go ahead, next one. Read. Yes, let's have quicker with the slides. Okay, go ahead.
Larson.
Oh, there is a problem out there. I knew because you were lying about your age and you got lost somewhere. That's why.
One second, I'll do that. I'll do that.
You'll get that in there back. Not a problem. Not a
He's
problem.
lost for words.
He's he's lost for words, but I could see his tongue hanging out there. Okay, so there's a lot of it. Hang out, hang out. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Fine. Take your time. Take your time. That's right. Yeah. If there was a Zoom master who could be a finger master, Larson, that's you. All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Correct. Correct. And let's get on to the current slideshow, which is there. All right. Okay.
Okay,
So
there
for
are
me,
three
actually,
ways.
there are three. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
let me
there are
explain. There are three
Three
ways of things
ways
to get
things
done.
to get done. There are
Okay, to
three
get done.
types of men on this planet.
Okay, so let me explain. I'll expand this. There are three ways of things to get done, ladies and gentlemen. One, do it by yourself. One, you ask someone from Inspiron to do it. The rest, forget your kids. Don't ever ask them to do it. Better you do it. And there are three types of men on this planet. And this is important for all the men in here. Some are single and see wonders happen. Some have girlfriends and make wonders happen. The rest get married and wonder what happened. That's the irony of life. I have got Jacob smiling in there, and he's looking out to see his spouse, and she's saying whether she's overhearing him or not, or what is that. So, rule of three with humor quiz. As I said, each one we will expand it. The next slide. Okay, go ahead with the next slide. Wordplay. What did I tell you earlier? Wordplay. A balanced diet is having a cheeseburger in each hand. Next, yes. Okay. All right. Jeevan, please do the honors of reading this out very slowly. Yeah. And then as soon as he finishes this, go to the next one, Larson. Okay. Yeah. Jeevan.
A dissatisfied man left the restaurant without giving a tip.
Yeah.
The rude waiter followed and asked, "Where is my tip?"
Yeah. And Larson will tell you where it is. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, you're having a problem with that. I guess it was the rude waiter who was doing this for you. All right, okay. Is there a problem? Okay. Okay, so we'll help you concentrate on that. I won't call you. Yeah. Right, Given, go ahead. Read that out. Here is
your tip. Wash your tongue.
Right. Okay. So from bad manners, you can get this out in there. All right. Okay. Jacob, can you read this out for me, please? Unmute yourself quickly.
Audience is the only set of people who get tired after sitting down.
Is that right? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Make this out for any of the newcomers that come in there. Next one. Go ahead. Okay, fine. All right. Okay. Whatever happened? Yes. Oh, Larson is hell bent upon.
Larson is out, I guess.
Is that so? You want to pass this on to somebody else, or okay, who's got the?
Yes, I will do it once again. So just.
Okay, not to worry about that. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Right. Okay, fine. So let me keep you out there. We've got these pregnant pauses, and right enough, we had Krishna Swami, who is in the US and on the highway of Chicago, had a breakdown, a heart attack. The paramedics came to his rescue and they found him chanting away, "Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om." The minute they landed up his home, his wife came out running and he says, "Paramedics are mad, what, you're crazy or what? Why you put him up here? You should have taken him to hospital." "Madam, what could we do?" He said, "Hari Om, Hari Om." We thought he wanted to hurry home, so we hurried home. If there is any hurry out there, remember, hurry, don't hurry, it's too fast. You can still have a handle on your life, okay? Fine. Right. Okay, so we're coming up there. I think that would be the 9th or 10th slide. Yes, go ahead. Yes, okay. Fine. And this one is, all right. Okay, so do we have anybody? Yeah. Yeah, Royal, you must read this, please. Royal, you got to do this. Read this. This is a Hindi word. Go ahead.
Which one?
Last wala,
The next one, the last one.
Yeah.
आप आए, okay. आप आए, बाहर आए, आप गए, हजार गए,
Hazar aaye.
हजार आए. I
Ah,
want.
okay, fine. So that is good, okay? Yeah. You got in tongue in cheek. Right. And this is Zina and Zina and Seema. Please, the two of you have to do these honors. Now, I don't want you to be the conventional one, be unconventional and add some masala and add something else at the end of it. Read this out quick. I want my husband to be what? Royal? Let them talk about the husbands in open. Go ahead. Zina, your turn.
Can I?
Yeah.
I want my husband to be rich, powerful, and quiet.
Array, you see, that's where it is. So if you're talking about something, you get in there. And another female, yeah, you have another lady in the room. Anyone, any of the ladies, please, this is the best time to talk it out. If your husband is there, let him hear the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Okay, can we have another?
I can go ahead.
Yes, Kavita, please, you must do something where we laugh.
You're muted.
Yeah.
Did your husband mute you?
No,
Okay.
not really. He doesn't do that anyway.
Okay.
I want my husband to be rich, powerful, and most romantic.
And most what?
Romantic.
Yeah, that's why he muted you right at the beginning. Correct. And now he's unmuting you. Fine, okay, and romantic. Wow. Valentine is still way ahead on there. But thank you so much, volunteers. All right, so as I said, wordplay, that's where you can strike rich gold. Okay, next one. Yes. Okay, simile and metaphor. I was as embarrassed as a bald guy in a barber shop. Right. Asma, read this out for me, please. Are you there? Okay, unless she's going to have a shower, maybe. Okay. All right. Okay, so I will read that. He was so thin, he had to jump around in the shower to get wet. Okay, next. See, these are similes and metaphor. Yes. It'll take a tractor to plow the fertile fields of his mind. And if you're talking something about your mind, bring it up, lighten up the mood. Yes, go ahead. Yep. Okay, funny philosophical thoughts. Now, this is where it is. Amit, read this out quick.
No matter how,
Kavita, yes. Okay, no matter how
hot your anger may be, it cannot cook.
You've ever experienced that with your girlfriend? Figure it out. Go figure it out. Okay, next one. Yes. All right, Kavita, please read this out for me. Walking, go ahead.
Yeah. Walking through life, we spend most of our energy choosing the right shoes.
How many pairs of shoes do you have?
Not many, though.
Not very much. Okay, next one. Yes. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is good. Anyone who's a senior citizen, read this out. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Choose old people for enemies. They die, you win.
Yes, it is. It is. But then you also win your heart, because at the end of it, everybody ages in there. And the last thing, ladies and gentlemen, the last thing I want to do is to hurt you, but it is still on the list. So if you don't laugh, I'll gag you up outside. Observational humor. What did I say? A short pencil is definitely better than a long memory. So if you're talking about photography, taking photos is the only way to shoot someone and cut their head off. All right, next. Oh, this is what people are going to try. Everyone in the room is going to try. Royal, read this out so that everybody else tries it out. The lips touch.
Your lips touch when you say separate.
Separated, but not when you say.
Separated, but not when you say together.
Oh, see, observational humor. So better watch out when you're talking to your girl. If she's saying separated, I'd rather be separated because together we can't kiss. All right, okay. All right, horrible means the same thing as horrific. So why doesn't terrible mean the same thing as terrific? That's English humor for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I've got a whole setup for that for the next 5 minutes as I complete my speech. Food for thought. And deathbed. This was nice. Okay, so Chulpul Pandey was dying. Elderly, he called his wife to his bedside and says, darling, you must get married to Ravi Sharma. She says, sweetheart, he's your worst enemy. I know, but I want him to suffer as much as I did. All right, okay, Kavita, you're watching out. You've got to get that information. Okay. Truth is funny. And I said, when I joined the company, so I will have Larson. All right, read this out, but you're also, no, he's not monitoring, right? Well, you're monitoring, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
correct.
Larson, are you there? You're still there, or you left me in the ditch?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Okay, so read this out. And well, do it very slowly when you get to the next one. Go ahead, read this. Truth is funny. When
I joined a company, I asked them about their vision and mission statements.
Yes, go ahead. Well,
They told me, sorry, we cannot tell. This is confidential information.
does this happen? But then again, this is the irony of life. Truth is funny. Next.
We are
All
in
right.
the age,
Yes. Beat. Go ahead.
we are in an age where pizza gets to your home before the police.
So if you're talking about food habits, you get in there. But in lightening up the mood, right? And he who laughs last just didn't get the joke. Earlier it was he who laughs last get. Forget it. Today it just didn't get the joke. Maybe because they're not on the same page, the same culture. It could be differences, but then truth is funny. All right. Next slide. Okay, delivery. We always talk about it. When you try to be funny, people may not laugh. It's happened to a lot of people. I think we all started off in that. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I have to learn my lines. And this is maybe my 7th or the 8th in the last 2 weeks. I'm doing the same workshop all over and that. But every time I've got to be confident and comfortable that I know my lines. I'm not referring it anywhere. It's coming in all within there. And I'm sure you've seen that I have the enthusiasm to make certain that you profit and you gain by whatever skills and techniques I have, and I'm passing it on. At the end of the day, at the end of the evening, knowledge is knowledge only if it's passed to somebody on. Otherwise, it's not knowledge. And if you remember, right at the very beginning, there was no instance where I would say, I will tell you a joke. I don't announce humor. It gets into it. When I say I'm going to tell you a joke, your expectations are of a joke and you may not laugh. But when I get into the act, it's a situational where you've got the observational humor. Don't announce humor the next time. Get into the skin of it and then. And what does it mean? Trust. Have people's trust when you're telling them about a joke, build and burst it. Okay. How does one that do? Yes. As I said in the beginning, I talked to you about are you home, which came in there. So you build it and then you burst it at the end, which is in there. And the next one, go ahead, is right. Okay, fine. So in the first year of marriage, people, wonderful people, the husband talks, the wife listens. In the second year of marriage, it's the wife who talks, oh, and the husband listens. In the third year of marriage, both of them talk and the neighbors listen. Build, burst, build up your trust. Okay. Yes, we're all doing really fine. Inappropriate humor. I mean, why would I really need to get blue jokes, sexist jokes? Why would I have to have these innuendos? If I'm at a meeting, if I'm at a Toastmasters meeting, or if I'm in a formal meeting, I really don't need to capitalize on it. If I'm in a party, everyone's known to one another. Yes, I can get away with murder at that point of time because the mood is very different. Your character stands large and wit when we use on different platforms. Why would I have to be racist and pull out a million in the group or have a Serb or an Irish person? Why would I have to pick up on women in that? Be gender specific. Why should I be a gender specific in there? Right? Okay, fine. Inappropriate humor. Next, community-based humor. As I said, the English talk about the Irish talk about the Australians, the Tamilians talk about the Serbs, the North Indians talk about the South Indians. We've got enough material on the planet, every nook and corner. And when in doubt, cut it out. I've had to do that because at times we also falter, we're also vulnerable. It could have been a cultural down at that point of time, But when I do, I cut it out. I have damage control done and I say, I stand corrected. And before I can know Tom, Dick, and Harry, I'm on to my next one, which then balances it in there. Inappropriate humor, forget it. I'm sure a lot of people just wouldn't like it out there. Next, yes, well, techniques. Okay, so accuracy is important in many ways when it comes to people who want to lighten the mood when they are. You've got senators, you've got presidents, you've got prime ministers, they need the accuracy, and yet they're more than willing to stretch the length. And I'll explain where it comes in with brevity and with clarity. How does the brevity born in there? And this has been always an inspirational one for me. Just let me grab water. The 1950s, 1940s, 1930s in the US, we had a huge gap between the Black Americans and the whites, where in the buses, the white sat in front, the blacks sat at the back. It went in for a long time. Rosa Parks, an elderly citizen, one day, out of a usual routine, got into the regular bus and sat in front. It started off a revolution. Martin Luther King latched onto it when he said in his speech on the freedom movement, I have a dream. Barack Obama addressed this in his presidential inauguration. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, Rosa Parks sat in that bus that day so that we Black Americans can stand for our rights. It was much more easier for them to digest it and get people. So even if you had other people in that group listening to that, you would then understand the brevity and the clarity of that. These are techniques where you can also find a light humor part of it in there. Always take the risk. Rosa Parks took the risk and she fought in there. And we had two people who said she sat down so that we could stand up. Take the risk. Okay, get into your techniques. What's the structure? Set the tone at the beginning. Timeout, I know I've crossed 35. Am I right? Just count me out. You should have showed me a yellow because I'm at 40 right now. Okay, loose with logical transition. Go ahead. Well, let's speed it up a little bit. Okay, fine. Funniest lines at the end. Absolutely, because it's the climax. We do that. And have a message. I've always strongly believed that no matter what it is, even in humor, people look for that message at the end, because that's the one thing the takeaway that consolidates, and that makes a meaningful dialogue for the person who stood up there and did all that with that humor part of it. All right, okay, fine. Next, yes. Delivery. Pause, deliver, and pause. As you might have seen, at times I've used that when I said smoking helps you reduce weight. One lung at a time. Pause, deliver, pause. And pauses are so immensely profound. They are the ones that bridge a lot of it in there with the meaning that comes in. Next. Yeah, give time for laughing. I learned that early in my stage. And of course, I picked it up from a lot of people who were experts in this anytime and every time. To make people laugh before the laughter dies down completely, you need to get on with the next line. Otherwise, you lose out. So give them time for laughing, let them enjoy it, but before they finish off totally, get to the next act. Stay in emotion. If I'm angry, obviously I'm going to be angry. If I'm happy, it's going to show on my face, radiate out there. As I've said, I'm shining India right now, and I'm serving you guys. Use props to enhance humor when appropriate and message yourself. I've always used myself. My kids, the family, my neighbors, the dogs, the cats. It works in many ways. All right, next. Yep. What if they don't laugh? So what the big deal it is? Humor is subjective. So what? It doesn't happen. I've flopped at times in there, but I've always picked up. Continue talking. They never know unless you tell them, hey, sorry, my joke fell flat. Don't, for heaven's sake, get on to the next one. Never explain the joke. If it's fallen flat, let it fall flat. Actually explain it and fall flat the third time and the fourth time. Learn from your mistake. I've done this often, every given time. And forgive yourself for not being perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not perfect. But I inspire people by dealing with my imperfections. So it's not the end of the world. Humor workout, cartoon caption. I will show a cartoon which comes in there. Okay, next. Yes. You work it out, write humorous observations. A short pencil is definitely better than a long memory. Study your favorite comedian, one that you like. Pick out little notes from there and ask why they laugh. So this is your humor workout. So I'm going to show a caption out here. And of course, we will have this here, and I'm sure, yeah, okay, get the next one. I'm sure Amit would love this out here. He's going to read this out for me. Read this out, please, yeah.
Marriage is a workshop where husband works and wife shops.
Yeah, but then the wife shops for a lot of stuff for the family. It continues out there, but you open it up with a workout. And she shops for all the intelligent stuff, the one that runs the house, the one that, and you continue on, and you've got food for thought. Am I right, Kavita? Right?
Yes, I agree, sir. I agree.
Correct. Rightly so, because it's always the sentence has not ended. But I have the liberty to end the sentence, and I've got the women already on my side and the men already, because it's a balanced one. And I'm telling them that this is, yeah, so that's how humor is, humor workout. Okay, next, yes, okay, right. My favorite exercise is a cross between a lunge and a crunch. So I call it lunge. Okay, yes, fine. Next. Oh, this must be really good. Okay, fine. Royal, read this out for me, the second one.
I think too much.
Yeah, please say yes. Say yes. You do,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I knew this was up your alley. And well, guess what? I wanted the whole teapot, but not just the handle. And it was up to Prince Charles to do that for me. He says, anyway, you got a handle in life on your Indian politics. Final thoughts, final thoughts. What are the final thoughts? Make it natural, right? It's got to be there. I have figured it out very often. Less is more, especially when you're telling a joke. Let me explain that in there. Less is more, because we get a lot of people, we undermine someone's ability for having heard it in the first place. For example, if I'm going to start off with a joke and say, you know, I went to the market that day and yeah, you know, the market was crowded and 9:30 in the morning it was crowded. And so it was in there and that. Excuse me, get to the point. Saturday morning, 9:30, the sun up in there, walking through the streets, sweating it out. I'll land up in the bazaar, and this is what I get. Less is more. Give up trying too hard, but of course, never give up. That's the motto. And in case you forget, what's the big deal? It's not the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. We just learn from practice, and we practice and practice. Go ahead, yes? Well, yes. Fine. So someone other than that I called in the room, any lady, please say yes to me and read this out for me, the last one, before we get to the video clip. Go ahead. Yeah, some volunteer.
Start with you. If there is no you in humor, there is no humor in you.
Seriously? Seriously? Okay, fine. So it's all about the you, right? Okay, make them laugh. Okay, fine. Right now, I'm going to have a video clip of a person who won the most unconventional, a doctor who won the first place. This was in Dubai. They won in there. It's a humorous speech contest. Have a look at it there, okay? It's about 7.5 minutes, the regular one. And after that, we will use the next 7 minutes. I finished off at 45. Next 5-10 minutes, we will use that to discuss on that. And what do you think really worked for him for the workshop that we had in there? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Royal gets the honors of presenting Dr. Khatrat. Sit back, relax, take it away, and of course, shake it up as the man comes up on stage. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, okay. Amit, right? Amit, you're going to
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the first speaker is about to set the stage and make sure that you continue laughing. The he's and the ha's and the who's. Bring it on. First Toastmaster, first speaker, Toastmaster MP Katra. Toastmaster MP Kathrak, speech title, Shake It Up. Shake It Up, Toastmaster MP Kathrak.
How many of you all believe that men are more superstitious than women? Can I see hands? I disagree. Let's check it out. Ladies, if a black cat crosses your path, how many of you all feel that the rest of your day will go bad? Very few as expected. Men, if a black cat, just imagine a beautiful lady in a black dress crosses your path and she smiles and waves at you. And you respond with a broader smile and wave. Just then, your wife notices this exchange of greetings. How many of y'all feel that the rest of your day is going to go bad? Really bad? Even the women are putting their hands up. Respected contest chair, honorable judges, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good afternoon to you all. I am not superstitious at all. But the people around me are. Ask why. They feel every time I shake hands with them or greet them, I bring bad luck to them. Can you believe it? I'll give you a few incidences, which I call coincidences. My neighbor's son, brilliant student, guaranteed 90% in each subject. I greeted for exams. Guess what? For the first time he got 95. But he was very upset with me. Ask why? Because 95 was the total of all his 4 subjects. During my student days, I used to never pass in any exams, but I used to never complain. Once, by mistake, I passed in all my exams. Even my principal called her to my office. Ask why? She asked, whom did you copy from? How could you pass your exams? From that day onwards, as my handwriting became worse, and the examiners could not read what I have written, that one fine day, I became a surgeon. From surgeon, I remember, once before surgery, I held my patient's hand and said, Madam, I'll give you a beautiful scar. Believe me, I gave my patient the best scar possible. But, unfortunately, she did not live to see it. These are all strangers. My best friend was very upset with me. Ask why? You see, his mother-in-law had gone missing for 8 to 10 days. I went to console him. At that time, his mobile phone rang, and he came to know his mother-in-law. His mother-in-law was fine, and she was coming to stay with him. From that day onwards, he stopped talking to me. He stated that he'll only start talking to me after I greet his mother-in-law and she goes missing once again. I felt very touched that day. Ask why? My friend had so much confidence in me. From that day onwards, I started believing in it a bit too. In Toastmasters. During my first few projects, I never won. Ask why? Because I used to clasp my own hands. Then once, I became a contest chair for division competition. 7 out of the 8 contestants on that day got disqualified. Ask why? The only contestant not disqualified on that day was from my club. Ask why? Because I greeted him the previous day. He got food poisoning and never reached the contest. Then one day, everything was clear. Early in the morning, I'm buttoning my shirt. My button fell off. I'm lifting my briefcase. The handle fell off. I went to open the door. The doorknob fell off. Anything I held in my hand on that day just fell off. That day, I need to be admitted in the hospital in the evening. Ask why? Because I refused to go to the washroom that day. Now don't ask why. From that day onwards, I was very cautious with whom I shook my hands. Once when I was traveling by plane, one of the staff greeted me. I said, okay, I shook hands. Then I came to know he was the pilot. I refused to travel and got down. Ask why? Because while going to the airport, I shook hands with the taxi driver. Within 1 kilometer, his engine shut down. 1 kilometer in this direction, no problem. 1 kilometer this direction, big problem. I'm also very well prepared. Today, I came with my lunchbox. Ask why? By mistake, yesterday I greeted a chef out here. I started my own business called Shake It Up, where rich businessmen pay me to greet their competitors. Ask why? Do you all still want to know why? Now, one serious question to you all. How many of you all feel that over the last 5 to 6 minutes, I've been bluffing? Don't worry, put your hands up. I'll not come down and shake hands with you. The results of this contest will prove if I'm bluffing or not. Ask why? Because I shook hands with all the other contestants during the briefing. Over to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, see, there was a lot which he did. It was called the observational humor.
Number 4. Toastmaster Rose.
Right.
Let me.
Oh, there's someone in the background, yeah?
Yes,
Ask why.
yes.
His speech title.
Sorry,
I've got to ask why. Whoever's doing this in the background, ask why. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you probably would have noticed out there that there was a lot of observational humor done in there. Things that were there, he got into it, made it up in there. And of course, he hit the high notes. All right, okay. The floor is yours. I can take 3 questions because in another 4 minutes, I've got to close this. Yeah, I guess so, because I'm also timing myself here on my clock. All right, people, go ahead. Shoot, questions. Amit, you can start off with that. Charlene,
Yes,
you're there. Charlene, you're from Mood B3. Just tell me what's not happening in Mood B3.
You have around 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lancy, one question. See, everybody cannot be a humorous speaker, right? Like you have, we have to train ourselves to be, but a joke, should we prepare ourselves when we go? I mean, it's always nice to be prepared and go and speak in front of an audience, but how do we judge the audience whether the joke might work or not, or is it like by the experience only?
I believe, Amit, you've answered the question yourself sufficiently. All right, no one's born a comedian. All of us do have a funny bone. It's how well we are willing to tap it off. And when we start on that particular journey, we take in all the knocks. I mean, my jokes have also flopped immensely in my earlier days out there. Even now, sometimes it could be a particular which I bite on. So for me, what I do is the one that I really find funny, that tickles me and I understand it's got a lot of empathy and will relate with people, I learn it. And traditionally, historically, and temperamentally, I call up 5 people, which I've done all over these years. And I talk to 5 people and tell them that joke. 2 things happen. One, I know feedback. And get the feedback from them. I can hear if they're laughing or not, or if they're in physical, that's fine. But number 2 is the retention. So I can archive it. And anytime and every time there is a particular subject given to me, I can relate with that particular subject and pull out that particular joke, that incident. So obviously, it's a conscious effort, Amit, to learn the tricks of the trade, per se, period. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next. Oh, we've got a whole lot of women in there. So I'm sure. Asma, any questions? Kavita, go ahead.
This is not a question. I'm
Sure.
telling about what Amit asked, because it has happened to me.
Okay.
Sometimes the joke has flopped. Then what I do is, hey, it is supposed to be a joke. Why are you not laughing? Then they start laughing.
Because that's another joke altogether.
Yeah.
The very fact that you're laughing at yourself makes you vulnerable, and everybody else is more than willing to forgive you for that, for being honest and get along with that. So at the end of it, truth is funny. What you did is funny. It's truth. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Right.
I have
Yes.
another question. I have another question. Now it is seen that in India we have got many comic shows and stand-up comedy shows that are going on the TV. Why is that people? I mean, I don't know about the attitude of people, but people laugh at jokes made on racism or color or whatnot. I mean, is that what the Indians like, or like even the West world also they like? I have not seen any shows in the West who are orienting their jokes or humor towards pulling each other's leg in.
Okay, let me take that. I mean, let me take that. Okay, fine. When you go into any of these studios, you got to understand that first and foremost, you're invited there for a show, right? There are times if it's Oprah Winfrey, you're going to pay for it to get in there. Number 1. Number 2, when you're in there, it's a privilege, right? You're on the right page, correct? Okay. Number 3, when you get in there, you go by the rules and regulations. So when they've got the teleprompter and they've got up their applause, laugh, they put it on cue. You're paid for it. You have to laugh. You've got to do it in there. And at the end of it, these are all shows that are money-making shows. Do they care where they draw the line, where the structure's in there? It does. To each their own, right? People, to each their own. Some people may digest it, some people may not. But that's not, like we said, that's not the end of the world. So if I'm you and if I find that it's offensive, why would I want to watch it again and again? I've got a million other ones to watch in there. So get in there rather than wasting my breath on it. At the end of it, it's to each their own. But remember, it's all paid for. In these places, you pay for it. I was there for one particular show. We had Charu Khan in there. And at one point of time, it was me in the scene out there when he was talking to one of the entrepreneurs. He had to clap. We had to say, wow, 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 all this part. It is part of it's part of the cosmetic world, as we call it, where you go in with the lines and you're being paid for it out there. All right. Next. Yes. I hope that answers your question, Amit.
Yes, yes.
And I hope for the rest out there. Okay, fine. If there are no questions, either the workshop went over their head or some of them decided that they will wait for it and question their better halves or the better halves, whichever. Okay, fine. So in conclusion, Royal, do we have any more time or can I close this?
You have around
You have a
5
question?
5 minutes. You have.
Yeah, and it's fine. You know, it's always nice. People, you don't need to ask me a question. If you've got an observation, please create an observation. This is a great place. All right. Like Asma, you there? You said that you found humorous a bit. So would you like to explain? Because I've heard you with your speeches. So when was the defining moment for you when you found that you had humor in you? Asma, take it away, please.
I don't have a defining moment. I think for me, what works is I'm a silent person by nature, and when people least expect it, I come out with some. I say some joke on the situation.
Yeah.
So just because they don't expect it from me, the laugh that I get is a little more than the joke deserves. So that sort of works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you, Asma. But I must tell you, a lot of people in here, remember, even for parents, and of course, especially for mothers, the more often that you have don'ts, remember, the do's are so much more important on a lighter note to get to the kids. That's a known fact, and their humor also brings it up, right? So even if your son or your kids have been obnoxious, do it in a humorous way. When they get that in there, they also know what the lesson is in it. But look out for that. It breaks ice a lot in there, right? So we've got Charlene. Do you want to try out something? From your mood with humor. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is not a question. This is the experience. So I'm going to share with you.
Thank you so much.
I have not cracked jokes in my life, and one of the function I took Dad's help and I tried cracking a joke, and I forgot to say the punchline, and nobody laughed. I felt bad, but I just forgot about it. Then later, with the help of one of the Toastmasters, I tried to deliver humorous speech. I won in Dubai. In area level, and after that I've noticed so many changes in my life. Now when I'm dealing with the customers, I make them laugh, but still I cannot crack joke. I never try, but in my day-to-day life I can make others laugh. That way I'm happy.
Charlene, I have a recommendation for you. See, in your area you have a lot of beetle nuts, right? And you have a beetle nut cracker, right? Use that nutcracker in there, okay? And you will get people laughing out at some point of time, right? I see we've got Ashrita, right? Are you a doc? What's up, doc? Ashrita, are you a doctor?
Good evening, Nancy. Yes, I am a dentist.
You're a dentist? Oh,
Yes.
that's one. Oh, that is where they love filling you, not only your head, your teeth, everywhere, right? But I'm sure you've got lighter moments in there, yeah, during that what's up, dog? Right, yeah.
No, that's why I was watching everybody smile, and thank you, sir. Everybody, it was not a smile what I saw today. Everybody was enjoying what you just said because it was so brilliant, and I would. It so reminds me that every line what you said was, I mean, it was taken. It was like as though it was woven, and it was, you took a lot of time to prepare for it as well. I just have one thing to tell you, sir. Is it possible to build up humor by watching a lot of, like I am a big fan of Friends, and I think I've like most of everyone here, and I watched it 20 times. So, can we develop humor by watching a lot of sitcoms or rom-coms or read a lot of books? How can you develop that? How can you get that mind to, because my humor is pretty flat. So I just wanted
Okay,
to
the one thing that we got to do right away is to take the risk.
Yeah.
It's not what you've achieved at the end of the day, it's a risk you did not take to achieve more. For that, get out of the comfort level. If I'm going to watch out in there, I'm going to scream, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to have there where I have wrinkles on my faces, everything in there, because that's what keeps you younger, right? By laughter. Even if my intestines are coming out in my hand, my stomach is buckling, I will laugh. I couldn't care less who's in the room. But that's what laughter is all about. But that's the changing moment, because then when you're willing to laugh at yourself, you get other people laughing along with you. So the next time you're watching with your kids or you're watching with the family, burst out laughing. They say you're mad. You say, of course I'm crazy. I'm having a whale of my time. Once you get into that mindset, it's amazing. The metamorphosis is getting that. And people will say, Sala joker hai, yeah. What you're joking? Of course I'm a joker, but at least I made you laugh.
Yeah.
You get in there? Touche. I made you laugh. It's the hardest thing on the planet to laugh. But you laughed at me. At first, people don't like you because they're not on the same end. After some time, they figure it out. Why is it you're popular with the humor? And then they want to be like you. But they first started off hating you for telling all those jokes. Then they love you because they know that you're weak and why can't I do it? That change comes in. It's all about me. At the end of it, I've got to uplift myself. First, laugh at myself. Like I said, I'm shining India, and the kids have definitely a faster way to reach my brains.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So on that note, if you're a doctor, I would have this in Saudi Arabia. When I walked into King Fahad Hospital in there for an appointment, we have a lot of Filipino nurses there, besides the Keralite nurses, right? So at the counter, at the reception, a Filipino nice smile. In the lift, Filipino nurses. In the room, all of them were wearing a nice pendant with an apple on it. At the end of it, when I stood into the room, consultation room, I walked up to her and I said, hey, this is my file and everything there. I smiled at her. Good morning, how are you? She said, fine. I'm curious. I want to ask one question. What is it, Mr. Dsouza? I said, what is it? Everybody, all of you have, all you Filipinos have a nice chain with a little pendant on the apple for it. Why is that? She says, you don't know, Mr. D'Souza, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah. But if the doctor is handsome, keep the apple away.
Yes. So that's what you took the words of advice. So I told her, in India, if the doctor's handsome, you throw the apple away. Absolute.
Yeah.
So this is observational humor, right? In every situation, you can pull it out.
Yeah. So one last question. How do you use humor to diffuse an intense situation? A serious situation.
Yeah. If somebody calls you an idiot, a fool or something, I'll say, why do you ask? Someone is upset with you, right? You want to confront it out there, right? Somebody calls you an idiot, a fool, and things like this way. There are two ways in every situation, as we know. Either we can respond or react. It's a fine dividing line. If I keep quiet, okay, fine, with my own decorum, or if I react and say, what do you mean I'm stupid, I'm idiot? Yeah, you were stupid. This is why you couldn't do it. I'm opening up a Pandora's box, Royal. I'm reacting it and I'm behaving exactly like the person wants me to behave. But if I hear humor, where I'm in control of it, and I would say, oh, that's interesting, Royal. Why do you ask? For you, it's like, why did I ask in the first place whether he's an idiot or not? You deflect it because now I'm in control of it. But you're using the slight humor part of it. Try it out the next time.
Sir,
yes.
I have a question. Sir, there is a slight difference between humor and sarcasm.
Correct.
So we are very, sometimes we will be in a dangerous situation. Some people take it as a humor, but for some people it might be a sarcasm. How to manage all these?
At the end of it, it's diplomacy. The way that you do it, Anita, is diplomacy. Okay, fine. I can be sarcastic, but sarcastic in a diplomatic way, whereby it's sugary sweet, maybe out there without any harm, but I'm still trying to get the message. If I'm rude, it's all about the tone, right? If I'm that, right? And if I'm cursing out and saying, yeah, you're always doing this sort of a thing out there all the time. Yeah, fine. It's sarcasm, right? Okay. But interestingly, you've done this after about 1 year, if I remember. I'm still sarcastic. Am I right? I'm still sarcastic, but I'm still trying to add humor and say, this is the last time 1 year back you did this or that. Funny you remembered it now and you're brought it up. So you're deflecting it out there. We can't escape with that situation because no one's perfect. And my words could also be sarcastic. It's the way I say it. And it works with the wrist. and at risk, and at times you got to use that there. By the humor, not only you'll find a better person, and sometimes your kids will say like, "Oh, mama, kya hua?" From where you got this humor in there, they'll start appreciating it in that. It breaks the ice. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to make a conclusion out there. It's my closing remarks in there. I was at this particular party. We had an elderly couple in their late 80s sitting on a love chair, talking to one another, looking into one another's eyes. And she said, "Honey, remember you used to kiss me?" He reached out and kissed her. "Remember you used to hold my hand?" He stretched out and held her hand. "Remember you used to hug me?" He went and hugged her. "Darling, remember you used to cuddle me?" He cuddled her. "Remember you used to bite my neck?" He stood up to go out of the room. She said, "Honey, where are you going?" "To get my teeth." Ladies and gentlemen, get your teeth into humor, and you'll be surprised that from being sarcastic, like Anita said, you'll probably be able to turn that into humor and definitely make this world a better place to live in. Good luck, good cheer, good evening. I'm privileged and humbled by the invite in here. Thank you so much, Royal. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM, Lancy Dsouza, for your session on humor workshop. You have explained it with all the artifacts that was required, and I've learned many technicalities how to build up the humor and present it with a perfect delivery. Thank you so much for your session. So moving forward to the next session, that is a humorous speech segment. So under the tagline, "Tickle Your Funny Bone." And to conduct this session, we have Toastmaster Jayamala from MILAGRES Toastmasters. So Toastmaster Jayamala is a teacher by profession and loves to travel to different places. So over to Toastmaster Jayamala, tickle your funny bone.
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters. Now, in this session, the first speaker is TM Vignesh. He is a CA. His hobbies are learning new things, playing guitar, motivational speaking is his passion. Main reason to join Toastmaster is initially was share his thoughts and overcome fear. Now it has helped hone and apply his skill of speaking his professional life and personal life. Over to you, NC.
Vignesh, you there?
Can we have the next speaker then?
Yeah, we'll have a next speaker.
Shall I move on to the next one?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. The next speaker, the first speaker is Toastmaster Santosh Naik. He is a curious person who likes to understand the meaning of things. He is an engineering student at St. Joseph Engineering College. Over to you.
Sitting on the last bench in my class, to the monotonous sound of my teacher, I promptly fell asleep. I started dreaming of getting into the IIT. Suddenly, I heard the math teacher's voice. "Santosh, tell me the value of X." Still at the IIT, I replied, "Sir, how will I know the value of X? I'm still single." Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I had always dreamed big, dreamed of being the next Amitabh Bachchan, the next Messi, and the next Bill Gates. But this dream of IT was real. So I promptly asked Google, how do I get into IIT? And it replied, get a good rank in JEE. Oh, that should be simple. After all, I have the special mantra of cracking all multiple choice questions. Inky, Pinky, Ponky. So I wrote the JEE and the results came and the figure 13 was written against my name. I couldn't believe my eyes. 13th rank in JEE. Surely IIT will welcome me with open arms. Happily, I called my friend Ajit. Hey bro, I got 13th rank in the JEE. And he said, Santosh, it is 13 percentage. I had flunked the JEE in an Ultra Pro Max level. And then I gave the CET exam. Luck favored me this time, and my mantra of Inky, Pinky, Ponky worked. And I got admission to St. Joseph Engineering College. What, ladies and gentlemen, you think it is a come down from the Indian Institute of Technology? Oh no, it is an upgrade from what Bill Gates studied. Who knows, a couple of decades from now, young students might want to be the next Santosh and join my company, IPP Limited. Inky, Pinky, Ponky Limited. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Santosh. Now, the next speaker is Toastmaster Ray. Over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes,
Am
you
I-
are audible.
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you. This Inspiron president, Joel, he's a funny guy. The other day, he made a video call to me, and with a very serious face, he asked me to make a humorous speech. At first I laughed, but he didn't. And that's usually what happens when you make a humorous speech. Don't ask me why. Now, your success depends upon 3 bones in your body: a wishbone, your backbone, and your funny bone. Now, the wishbone, you can find it wherever you wish to. The backbone, we all know where it is. And the third one, the funny bone, check your rib cage, especially if you're a man. Now, given the nature of today's event, which is he, haha, something like that, I think all of you expect me to make a rib tickling speech, but I don't want to do it and I won't do it. The last time it was done is at the Eden Gardens, a woman appeared next to the man and her name was Eve. So anyway, man is after that very wary of anybody touching that part of his body. Anyway, God said to Adam, you can take Eve by the hand and roam the entire garden, but don't eat the fruit of this particular tree, which is an apple. And he very clearly mentioned, take her by the hand. He also said, you eat apple, I mad. But everyone wants an apple, even before Steve Jobs. But not so when Eve bit into the apple, Adam didn't hesitate. The fact that he was fearful of her is only to be whispered. Huh? So the moment they ate the apple, the windows and the gates, they opened up and a fresh gust of air came in and blew the leaves away. So Adam removed his hand, holding her hand, and grabbed her by the waist. Now don't ask me why. Now let's have a minute's silence while Adam closes the gates and the windows. Over to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. Now, the fourth speaker in the session is DTM Veera Katpatia, who is an ex-banker, Reiki Grandmaster, NLP practitioner. Last year, she served as a training coordinator, and the current year, she is under the PQD team. Over to you, ma'am.
Toastmaster of the day and fellow Toastmasters. I'm in love with the social media. In these Corona times, only the social media provides me with fresh and interesting news. Only on the internet, I get to see pot-bellied uncles do the Nagin dance at a wedding. And important news like how an actor shaved his head off because he did not get an award. The other day, I got an important forward on WhatsApp. Sundar Pichai was going to take over Air India. Oh my God, how wonderful. We Indians don't really appreciate what we have. It takes Google to appreciate us. And what a big compliment it was. The writer announced that Sundar Pichai said that Air India is what will drive the future. I hastily checked if Air India was listed on the BSE. Let me buy a few hundred shares before they go out of my reach, I thought. But the government seemed to have cornered all the shares. And it said wholly owned by the government of India. The whole internet was abuzz with the news. Proud to be an Indian, Air India, the Kohinoor of our crown. Maybe when Google buys it, it will wipe off the whole deficit finance of the country. Journalists rushed to Mr. Pichai for a scoop. But Mr. Pichai refuted everything, the whole thing. He said, I did not make any such statement. But you did, said the journalist. You said that AI will drive the future. Now you're refuting it. Oh, that, said Mr. Pichai. What I meant by AI was artificial intelligence. It will be artificial intelligence that will drive the future. I love the social media. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, DTM. Veera Katpatia. The next speaker is Toastmaster Kavita. She is working in the field of insurance from the past 15 years with the LIC and National Insurance. Teaching is her passion. Currently, she is teaching online a group of orphan children which is linked to an NGO in Bangalore. She says, live life to your fullest. Over to you, Toastmaster Kavita.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests, and a special good evening to Lancy. COVID positive, be positive. In August, my husband and I tested COVID positive for the dreaded COVID-19. Initially, when I used to receive phone calls and the other person on the line found out that I was COVID positive, there was a long, silent pause. A long, pregnant pause. I wish I could tell them that COVID is not transmitted through cell phones. That doesn't mean that they are transmitted through tabs or any antique landline. I had a running nose initially, and then my husband lost taste and smell. I was wondering, was he complaining about my cooking? He has never done this before, but after a few days, I lost taste and smell. I realized the importance of my little nose and also my tongue. The tragedy was the Dalitova, the famous aromatic and sumptuous GSB dish, as you all know, tasted like hot water to me, plain, bland, and tasteless. But the constant communication with the well-wishers made me feel pampered. They offered me tips for early recovery, and I enjoyed being in the limelight. It is a height of craziness that one man was so jobless that he started counting the ajas in the song, and he mentioned it in the tweet. He said there are 492 ajas in the song, Aja Aja, मैं हूँ प्यार तेरा. I am crazy to one extent, but not this extent. Another instant, a foodie tweeted that he is endlessly eating and the buttons of his shirt started social distancing from each other. The COVID brought me back the honeymoon days. The love for each other had doubled 100-fold. My mom always told me I wouldn't accomplish anything by lying in bed all day. But look at me now, Ma. I am saving the world. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. The last speaker in this session is Toastmaster Ashrita, who is a passionate Toastmaster, who's a dentist by profession. Over to you.
Well, Toastmasters and guests, did you all have a DDLJ moment when you're traveling by train? Or did you all have a Jab We Met moment when you're traveling in train? Well, have you all just reached the station and the train is just moving and a handsome hunk pulls you in? Well, it doesn't work the other way because no lady can pull a man. It's only handsome hunks pull women inside. Well, traveling in train is such a lovely experience because you get to see different parts of India, or rather, if you travel abroad, different parts of the world in one cabin. How good is that? And to top that, whenever I get to sit or whenever I get my upper berth, you get to listen to such lovely humorous talks down who are in the lower berth. Well, also you get to see some scratches on the train walls, if I can put it that way, and you go to read some of them. It is really hilarious. Couple of them said, "My teacher, let her burn in hell." I wonder who wrote that and why did he write that in the railway track? I mean, in the train on the cabin. There are many other things what we have seen. I mean, the usual ones are, people how they they express their love to their girlfriends on the walls. But I think reading some of them is really hilarious. Some of them are straight from the heart. For example, I wish there is I wish there is profound, access to the Prime Minister's Relief Fund so that we all can be provided with equal support. So these are some of the hilarious things I get to see on the walls of the trains. And to top it, if you think that you can sit on the upper berth or sleep on the upper berth and get up really late in an overnight journey, well, you're wrong. At 5:30, the chai wala comes right through saying chai, chai. So it's difficult to even sleep in the train, don't you think so? Especially in the Rajdhani, because everything is done on time on the Rajdhani Express. But then you get to see one such incident was that when I think it was I was on the upper berth and it was people sitting down, maybe a husband and wife, and the husband was telling his wife, um, uh, well, Geeta, I hope you have packed that knitted sweater. Please tell. It was for the mother-in-law, so please tell that you have knitted it, though you have got it from the shop. So these are some of the hilarious incidents you get to see when traveling on the train. I'm very sure you have also come across such moments, especially people talking to the TCs. That is much more hilarious. Some of them are begging, sir, प्लीज सर एक जगह तो दे दो वरना मुझे नेक्स्ट स्टॉप पे उतरना पड़ेगा बिकॉज दे हैव ट्रैवल्ड probably in the waiting list. And all these thinking of all these situations, I have just thought that we should keep the trains clean. I mean, after all, it's public property and such good experiences come when you're traveling in the train. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashita. I think Toastmaster Vignesh is present. So
Yeah.
I have already introduced Toastmaster Vignesh. Go ahead. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Could anyone confirm that I'm audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So 2 days back, I caught a very bad cold. I had sore throat. I went to my mom and said, "Mom, I have a little bit of sore throat and I think I'm coming down with a cold. Please make me something hot. Now, I don't know why I said this, but this act of mine was like handing over a loaded pistol to a hunter. My mom started. I knew this would happen. All this burger, girger, pizza, gizza, that all that you have eaten, now it's showing its true colors. This is why you have gotten a cold. I said, Mom, I ate burger and pizza. No, I'm sorry. Burger, girger and pizza, gizza 10 days back. So are you telling me that the burger, girger, pizza, gizza waited for 10 days and decided on the 10th day, exactly on the 10th day, not 11th day, not 9th day, but on the 10th day to wage a cold war inside my body? Just never mind, just hand me a cup of coffee. That would be enough, I said to my mom. My mom said, what will you do with a cup of coffee? You will go there, sit, sleep. You are always working. You don't have enough exercise in your body. That is why you are weak. And that is why you have gotten cold. I said, Mom, please stick to one reason. I'm sure that the food and the body inside me, the immunity system inside me, they did not form a coalition government to overthrow my immunity system. Just choose one thing, I said to my mom. My mom said, you won't listen to me, whatever I say, you do whatever you want. I was frustrated. I went and made a cup of water for myself, hot water. I came upstairs and I sat down. And meanwhile, I get a text from my mom. See, this is how you do good parenting. I got you to do all the things that I want to without even asking you to do it. Thanks, and back to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vignesh. We had a wonderful session. We really enjoyed it. Over to you, MC. Back to MC.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jayamala. Moving forward, we have one more fun session named under tagline, Fortunately, Unfortunately. To conduct this session, we have Toastmaster Moniz from Ignatian Toastmasters. To introduce Toastmaster Moniz, she is pursuing MA in English at St. Agnes College and MA in Public Administration at IGNO. She enjoys learning something new every day. Through Toastmaster, she is trying to get over glossophobia, which is a new word. When I search it, it is like strong fear of public speaking. So that is glossophobia. So over to Toastmaster Moniz.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jeevan. I hope you all are ready and excited for Fortunately, Unfortunately. The goal of this session is to tell a coherent story going around a circle, each player contributing one line at a time. A leader will begin the story with one establishing sentence. I will be giving an establishing sentence. Then every line must alternate between fortunately and unfortunately. We will give an example. I request Toastmaster Larsen to help me with an example. So the establishing sentence here would be, once there was a monkey who wanted to be a movie star. I will begin the sentences with unfortunately, and Toastmaster Larsen will begin the sentences with fortunately. Once there was a monkey who wanted to be a movie star, establishing sentence. Unfortunately, she lived in the wild, far away from civilization. Toastmaster Larsen, you're muted.
Fortunately, she had a cousin who lived in Los Angeles.
Unfortunately, she had no money to buy a plane ticket to Los Angeles.
Fortunately, she was very fast at swinging through the trees. She began her journey to California.
Unfortunately, her arms go so tired, she had to stop and take a nap in a bear cave.
Fortunately, the bear was running out red and she had the whole cave for herself.
And it will be so on the continuation. I hope it is clear. So each player should build directly on the already existing sentence by the previous speaker. For the first for this round, MILAGRES Toastmasters would begin their sentences with unfortunately, and Inspiron Toastmasters would begin their sentences with fortunately. I will be giving the establishing sentence as the establishing sentence.
Can I interrupt Toastmaster Sarah? If you can read out the participants' names, that would be better, I guess. Because
the first would be Toastmaster Amita, followed by Toastmaster Ashrita, Toastmaster Mahima, Toastmaster Anita, Toastmaster Jacob, Toastmaster Shalin, Toastmaster Amit, Toastmaster Christopher, Toastmaster Zina, Toastmaster Zakir, and Toastmaster Anupama Shetty. Is that okay?
And will they be 2 rounds or just 1 round? Sorry?
Just 1 round.
Okay.
And Toastmaster Zakir is from MILAGRES. So after him, I come from MILAGRES as well. So it will alternate with fortunately and unfortunately.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, I got it. Thank you.
Excuse me, I have a doubt. So MILAGRES will start from unfortunately, and Inspiron will start from fortunately, right?
Yes, you're right. I will give the establishing sentence, no problem.
But I'm sorry, but they're not in alternating order, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we can just alternate.
Yeah, just alternate.
Okay, shall I read the names again?
It's the same name, then I think that is what I mentioned. Zakir sir and myself, we fall one behind the other, both from MILAGRES.
Okay, so is it okay if we just follow this order then?
I think that should be.
I will mention the names before you all speak. After reading out the establishing sentence, I will call on the name.
That would be better.
Okay. So the establishing sentence is, I was walking on the street and someone sneezed on my face. Toastmaster Amita?
Unfortunately, on that day, I've left my mask at home.
Toastmaster Ashrita?
Fortunately, I had a hidden pocket on my skirt and I pulled out my N95 mask.
Toastmaster Mahima?
Unfortunately, I didn't have my hand key with me. At least with hand key, I could cover my face.
Toastmaster Anita?
Fortunately, the man who was sneezing had his mask.
Toastmaster Jacob?
Fortunately, there was a pharmacy nearby. I could go and get a mask there.
Toastmaster Shalin?
Unfortunately, I ran away from there.
Toastmaster Amit?
Fortunately, I was buying some IPA solution, that is the hand wash sanitizer, which is on a spray bottle, and I started spraying it all around.
Toastmaster Christopher?
Unfortunately, the sneeze had already caught on and the infection had already affected me. So I had to go and do the test for the virus.
Toastmaster Zina?
Zina is not there. We can continue. Zina is there.
Fortunately, there was a washroom where I could wash my hands clean.
Toastmaster Zakir?
Unfortunately, when I went to the hospital, there was no doctor available. Sorry.
Toastmaster Anupama?
You're muted. Anupama, you are muted.
Fortunately, the story which began with the sneeze and then the mask, everything was a fake story and it wasn't real. And I turned out to be negative.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for participating. This was fun. Back to you, Toastmaster Jeevan.
I don't mind having one more round. It was really fun.
I think with the interest of time, let's go on.
We can have it at the end. We can have it at the end if time permits.
Yes, if time permits, we can have it at the end. Okay, so let's move on. So thanks, Toastmaster Sarah. Now we are at the last segment of today's session, that is named after YOLO, which is abbreviation for you laugh only once. So this session is in the form of contest. It's president versus VP heads of Inspiron and MILAGRES Toastmasters, and they are the participants. So here in the session, the presidents and the VP heads share the jokes to each other, and if one of the contestants laughs, then the opposite team would get a point. So the contestants are Toastmaster Royal, president of Inspiron Toastmaster, Toastmaster Azma, the president of MILAGRES Toastmaster, Toastmaster Larson, VP head of Inspiron, and Toastmaster Sherling, VP head of MILAGRES Toastmaster. So let's get on with the contest. So I would like Toastmaster Royal to begin. Yes.
Yes, say something. Yes, Azma.
I have a doubt. Is a smile counted as a losing point? Can I smile? No.
Yeah, you can smile, but yeah, if you laugh, you will lose the point. So Azma, you started, so then I'll continue.
What do you call someone who immigrated to Sweden? Let me tell you. Someone who immigrated to Sweden? Artificial sweetener.
Okay. Okay. So what do you call a ghost poop? What do you call a ghost poop? Okay, let's Larson. Charlie, okay.
Myself or last?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
My turn, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry. Teacher asks a student, anyone who thinks they are stupid, stand up. A student stands up. So teacher says, okay, so are you stupid? So student says, no, ma'am, I felt bad that you are standing alone.
Okay. So Azma, Toastmaster Azma and Toastmaster Charlie, listen carefully. Ritik was a bright student in his class. Ritik was a bright student in his class. What would his classmate call him? Any idea? You need not answer, right?
No idea.
He is called Ritik Roshan.
What do you call a fish with no eye?
Pirate.
A fish with no eye would be called a fish.
Good one, good one. Okay. Why did the timer refuse to take part in a speech contest? Okay, I'll tell you the answer. Because he likes to watch.
Charlie.
Teacher asks the student, tell me the name of the bird by seeing its leg. Student says, I don't know. So teacher says, you failed. What's your name? Then student says, see my leg, then you will know.
Okay. Which is the most delicious law in the whole world? Which is the most delicious law in the whole world? No idea. It is masala. Masala. Masala.
All right, my turn. What do you call a Toastmaster with a back pain? A Toastmaster with a back pain.
No idea.
The counter.
Okay, good one. Good one. What do you call a Toastmaster with no body and no nose?
Don't know.
Nobody knows.
My turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Dad asked the son, son, if you study today, I'll buy you a phone. Son says, okay, Dad. 3 hours later, son said, I finished. So Dad said, I lied. Then son says, me too, Dad.
Yes, Larson.
Okay, yeah. What do you call the fish that is pressure cooked? What do you call the fish that is pressure cooked? It is called fish. 3 times. Fish. Fish.
Okay, guys, I think it's done, right? 3 jokes.
Yeah.
Each. Okay. It was fun session anyways, first time in Toastmasters. I hope the audience had fun.
The masala really got me almost. Masala.
Okay, so that now
I
time
can
is
laugh.
7 o'clock. Yes, the time is 7. If the audience wants, we can have a 1 round of fortunately, unfortunately, and we can wrap it up if the audience wants it. Audience wants it?
Raise your hand.
Yeah, please. Yeah, whoever wants, just give a thumbs up. We can have a quick one session and we can wrap it up.
Four hands have gone.
Okay.
Only 4.
Okay, then we'll have a short round between those 4 people then. Then we'll wrap it up. Sarah, you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Sarah, please do the needful.
May I know who are the 4 people? Toastmaster Jeevan, Toastmaster Shalin, and
Anupama Shetty is there.
Mahima, Amita,
Christopher sir is there.
Okay.
okay.
I'll add to Spotlight. Add them to Spotlight.
I'm using my phone actually, so that's why I'm finding it difficult.
I'll do it.
Yeah, whoever interested, please raise your hands or just unmute and just speak. We'll spotlight you all.
Just let me know the names, Amita, Anita, and all. Amita,
Anupama, Charlene,
Charlie,
Mahima,
second. Mahima is already pinned. Charlene, where is Charlene?
Yeah, timer.
Yeah, yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who did I miss?
Amita.
Amita is there.
Ashrita is there.
Who else? Ashrita.
Ashrita.
Ashrita is pinned, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Ashrita is pinned.
Pinned already.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, right?
Anyone else?
What would be the order?
See, Sarah, the host, can call out.
Is it okay if I read out the topic and before, like while I call out your name, I will say fortunately and unfortunately?
Yeah.
That's okay? Okay. So the establishing sentence is, I decided to join a Zoom meeting in Maldives. Toastmaster Jeevan, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, when I opened my laptop, the electricity went on and it was raining cats and dogs.
Toastmaster Christopher, fortunately.
Fortunately, I had a backup and I was able to log in on my phone and had the data package, so I was able to log into the meeting.
Toastmaster Anupama, unfortunately.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Unfortunately, I did not listen to what Christopher sir said. However, I was waiting for my chance last. So I switched on and tried connecting through the nearest network and got connected to the Zoom meeting.
Toastmaster Mahima, fortunately.
Fortunately, I was not a speaker in the Zoom meeting. Otherwise, I think I would have been keeping the audience waiting for me to speak.
Toastmaster Shalin, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, there was no internet connection. And also the guest had arrived. I was not able to attend.
Toastmaster Ashrita, fortunately.
Fortunately, I was in Maldives and I excused myself from the Zoom meeting and I went and enjoyed the beach.
Toastmaster Amita, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, our president Asma had accompanied us and she forced me to sit for the meeting. So I could not enjoy the scene.
Okay, so we are done. Thank you. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Join the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for all your participation.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Sarah, for moderating this session. So now we'll hand over the session to Toastmaster Asma, the president of MILAGRES Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jeevan. It was really a fun meeting, starting with DTM Lancy, who gave us, like somebody mentioned, the technicalities. You wouldn't think there would be technical aspects to being funny, but it was, I think it would have been, it would be very helpful for us to incorporate those in our speeches. And thank you, Toastmaster Roel, for coming up with such great ideas. I even though I was showing that I had a straight face, I was really laughing out loud on the inside at the YOLO contest. And thanks to all of you who joined, and it becomes a better laughter when we all laugh together, and to see that 30 plus strength really added to all the joy. So thank you so much, and we hope to, I hope we can be part of such collaborations again. Back to you, Toastmaster Jeevan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Asma. So I will hand over the session to Toastmaster Royal.
Yes. So it was a fun-filled meeting. I enjoyed it thoroughly. My view was to have a fun education session and the second half where we can implement what we learned. So it worked out to some extent. And thank you so much for everyone joining us in this amazing meeting. And anyone would like to give a feedback or share their experience in this?
Yes, please.
Anyone would like to share experience? Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. It's something new for most of us over here, and we really enjoyed it. The education section was very informative, and also the other games which we had is new to most of us. I think most of us are very new to this game, but still we enjoyed it, and it is good collaboration with Inspiron and MILAGRES. Thank you for arranging Toastmaster Royal and the Inspiron team.
Thank you so much. Yes. Anyone else who would like to share a few words?
Yeah, Royal, can I? Amita here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It was wonderful session. Even DTM Lancy's education session was so good. And the game, unfortunately, that we wanted to have it once more. And the best part I liked was their timing. Your time management is superb. Everything was dot on time. And you had time to adhere, take in our request of one more round of, that was perfect. Very good. Really enjoyed this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amita. Thank you so much.
But tell me, Royal, why you had this session?
Well, okay, seriously asking it or you're asking it in a funny way?
Both.
Okay, DTM Lancy, actually I had spotted him first in MILAGRES meeting. So thanks to Anupama Shetty, I was taking one of the table topic session. And the moment I heard him speak, I was like, wow, man, this person is really good. And I got in touch with him and he mentored me for a couple of speeches. So I know the type of content what he is having. And the humor, he's actually really good at humor. So I just thought, why not, let's bring out a different flavor in our division F and L so that we get to learn more technical part of humor, because humor is something which I personally, I also struggle with it. And that's what I thought. So if it's helping me and even other members, that was my aim about it. And I wanted to design it in such a way that 1 hour where we are going to learn, and second half we are going to implement it. For humor, it was kind of difficult, but somehow I managed it. But in terms of evaluation or table topics, if we can have a complete workshop where 1 hour of education session in second half where we can actually implement it. So that was my vision behind this workshop. So I am really hopeful that it will help you or help all of you. And even the contest season is coming up. I guess hardly 3 months left, right? So I just thought, why not let's have it. And thank you so much, Brian, for joining us. Right? Thank you so much, Brian.
Welcome. When you ask with a serious face, I can't say no.
Yes, if I can speak. Royal.
No, you can't speak.
Even if it says no, I will.
No. You should say why. Why you want
Yes,
to say?
that's true. Yes, Royal, congratulations to you and Toastmaster Asma as well. It was indeed. First of all, I'm glad that you joined that MILAGRES meeting so that you were introduced to Lancy, and here we have an innovative thought of this particular session. I missed the first part of it, but it was fun to join in. I pitched in the last moment for that unfortunately thing. It was wonderful. And I also the VPHs and presidents' participation. I enjoyed looking at your reactions more than what you spoke. So I was just waiting for your reactions, where you tried hard to stop your laughter. So wonderful initiative, Asma and Royal. Great job. And thank you for inviting all of us.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyone else? A few words or two? Yes.
I really like this session. It was fun, especially when we can't have offline sessions, offline meetings. This was something very unique and creative. And I really like how I feel when I'm with Inspiron and MILAGRES. It feels very comfortable. It feels like a family. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Sarah. And I would like to, congratulate Sarah the way she handled that. Fortunately, unfortunately, I was facing some network issues, and the way she handled it was wonderful. So kudos to you, Sarah. So next up is Ashrita. You want to say something?
Yeah, I really have to say something because just thinking of the joke what Larson said, it still brings smile. What happens when you put a fish in a pressure cooker? It says fish. That was too good, Larson. And I think the other joke also was very nice, excellent. It was really nice, and we really had a great time. I think this. Thank you so much, MILAGRES and Inspiron. Thank you very much.
Yes. So I guess that's it. Anyone else, or shall we adjourn the meeting?
I would actually want to
Mahima.
say something. Yeah.
Yes, Mahima.
Actually, this is such a fun thing because, though we have fun themes for our every meetings, now after 1.5 years of this online meetings, we've grown so bored of it. Like we don't have access to meet people and all that. But this kind of initiatives, if it is implemented more, it would be really good. I really loved it. I was actually doing my crafts, and despite that, I was like listening. I loved Larson's. I loved Lancy sir's session. Yeah, though I could not make a lot of notes, I was scribbling here and there in the charts and everything. Thank you so much, Royal and Asma. I think we should keep this up and continue this tradition.
Yes,
you.
definitely, Mahima. Definitely. Thank you so much. So anyone else would like to speak, or we are done with it? Okay. I think we are done, right?
Yes.
Okay, guys.
Adjourn.
Okay. Yeah. So the recording will be shared in YouTube. Might be by tonight before 12, or by tomorrow morning we will uploading on our Inspiron YouTube channel. So do subscribe our channel. And yes, that's it, guys. It was fun. Thank you so much, Asma and team. Thank you so much, MILAGRES. So I knew that MILAGRES is always fun. It's always an extended family for me. I have so many friends over there. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for making it happen. It was